Sabrina woke up feeling a bit tired and groggy. The bed she had slept on wasn't the most comfortable, but she was grateful for the rest and the food she had been given. After getting dressed and ready for the day, she made her way to meet the kind man who had given her a job and a place to sleep for the night. She bowed and thanked him for his generosity, promising to return if she needed help again. As Sabrina walked through the city, she couldn't help but admire its beauty. She gazed into the windows of various shops, her eyes widening with wonder at all the new and interesting things she saw. She made a mental note to come back and buy some of those things when she had more money. Eventually, she spotted a grand building with a sign outside that read Adventurer Guild, New Members Welcome. Sabrina knew that this was where she needed to go to register. Upon entering the guild hall, she noticed that it was bustling with activity. Adventurers of all kinds were sitting on benches, enjoying their meals and drinks, laughing and chatting with one another. Others were studying the guild contracts on the wall, searching for jobs to take on. Sabrina made her way to the front desk, where a friendly lady named Yui greeted her. Yui asked Sabrina if she was a new adventurer or if she needed adventurers to do a job for her. Sabrina explained that she was there to become an adventurer herself. Yui smiled kindly and placed a translucent tablet in front of her. She instructed Sabrina to place her hand on it so that it could show her current level and personal details like her name, age, rank and experience points. Sabrina did as she was told, and the tablet lit up. Suddenly, words started to appear on the screen, listing her name as Sabrina Sato, level 0, 4, experience points age 15, rank F, gender female and race elf. Yui showed Sabrina her information and informed her that since she was still at level 0 with the rank of F, she would need to start with weaker missions. They didn't want any of their members to get injured or take on jobs that were too difficult for them to handle. Yui suggested that Sabrina start with gathering or finding lost pets missions until she had gained more experience and leveled up a bit. As she gains a higher rank by completing quests and advancing in the guild, Miss Yui then explains to Sabrina how ranks work in the guild, stating that there are 8 ranks, F, D, C, B, A, S, SS, SSS. Sabrina is new, so she would start at F, and if she completes quests for the guild, she would advance to D next. However, Yui advised her not to worry or rush herself, as it would happen naturally over time and not to focus too hard on that for now. Sabrina listened to Yui's advice with bated breath, absorbing every word like a sponge. The guild hall was abuzz with activity, adventurers of all ranks huddled in groups, discussing their latest quests and boasting about their accomplishments. The air was thick with excitement and anticipation, and Sabrina felt like she was standing on the precipice of a grand adventure. With newfound determination coursing through her veins, Sabrina thanked Yui for her guidance and asked if that was all or if she was officially an adventurer now. Miss Yui confirmed that she was indeed a member and produced a small, intricately crafted necklace from her pocket. Sabrina watched in awe as the pendant on the necklace glowed with a brilliant light, her stats imprinted onto the guild accessory for all to see. Miss Yui explained that the necklace was a valuable tool for future contracts, and all Sabrina needed to do was show it to other guild halls if she ever moved towns. Sabrina slipped the necklace under her shirt, feeling a surge of pride as she realized she was officially a member of the Adventurers Guild. As Sabrina walked towards the mission board, her heart was pounding with excitement and anticipation. She scanned the board, her eyes darting from one contract to the next. Most of them seemed too daunting for someone of her rank, but then she spotted one that seemed perfect for a beginner like herself. The contract simply required her to collect 50 Felicia Blue Rose flowers with a photo of the rose on the note. The contract paid 200 silver coins. It seemed like an easy enough task, and Sabrina could already picture herself in a brand new outfit with her reward. Sabrina eagerly took the note off the board and handed it to Miss Yui, practically bouncing with excitement. Miss Yui nodded, a small smile playing at the corner of her lips, and placed the note under the desk. The contract was all hers. With her heart pounding in her chest, Sabrina ran out of the guild hall, eager to embark on her first adventure. She could hardly wait to see what lay ahead and what kind of dangers and excitement awaited her. She was officially an adventurer, and the world was her oyster. Sabrina set off on her first mission to find the rare blue roses for her guild. As she walked deeper into the forest, she couldn't help but feel a bit nervous. She was determined to prove herself as a worthy member, but she also knew that she was still inexperienced in using her magic. As she walked, Sabrina thought more about the different kinds of magic she had been given by the god. She remembered that she had been told she had access to 6 elements: air, water, fire, earth, dark, and light magic. She decided to take a moment to rest and think about how to use her magic. Sabrina found a big tree in the forest and sat down in front of it. She closed her eyes and focused on her breathing, trying to calm her nerves. She then thought about the one element she was told she had access to: air magic. She imagined the wind blowing through her hair, against her skin, feeling the breeze blow against her body. She then started to feel the magic flowing through her. Sabrina closed her eyes to concentrate harder, and suddenly, she felt the air around her shift. A gust of wind rushed past her, blowing her hair and clothes around. Sabrina smiled, realizing she had unlocked her air magic. She opened her eyes and continued her journey deeper into the forest. As she walked, Sabrina suddenly heard a loud growling noise. She turned around and saw a huge bear standing just a few feet away from her. Sabrina froze in terror, but then remembered her newfound confidence in her magic. She closed her eyes and focused on her air magic again. The ground beneath the bear began to shake, rocks started to lift off the ground, and leaves moved around the bear in a circular shape. The bear gave off a big roar as its hair started to lift up as the breeze got stronger and stronger, starting to lift the bear off the ground. Sabrina smiled, thinking that she did it. She was using magic. The bear kept rising higher and higher into the air, but suddenly, Sabrina lost her focus, and the bear started to tumble back to land with a surprised and scared look on his face before hitting the ground and making a big sound as it hit the floor. Sabrina was relieved that she was safe, but also felt a bit guilty about what had happened. As she approached the spot where the bear had fallen, she saw that it had turned into a purple-like smoke, which then vanished out of sight. In its place were a few claws, a rolled-up hide, a purple sharp-shaped gem, and a claw. Sabrina walked up to the items on the floor to inspect them, and suddenly, they all vanished. Her necklace started to glow, then she took it off, holding it in her hand, inspecting what had just happened. Suddenly, an image appeared in front of her. On top of the image was listed inventory, and below it was all the items that had just been on the floor. Sabrina smiled, thinking that this truly was just like those games she used to play. She put the necklace back on and continued her journey. As Sabrina walked deeper into the forest, she finally spotted the rare blue roses growing near a river, with what seemed like a huge field full of them just on the other side. However, she was not the only one interested in them. 2 ogres and a handful of goblins emerged from the trees. She was not sure why monsters like these would want them, but she knew that she would not let them take the flowers from her. Sabrina knew she had to act fast. She focused on her water magic this time, imagining water droplets forming in her mind, then a river running, water hitting the rocks and splashing around, rain dropping on her face and the ocean, the power of strong waves moving through her mind as she summoned a powerful wave that washed over the goblins, knocking them off their feet. She then wondered if she can improve on the water magic in any way, curiously looking at the monsters being pushed by her magic. Then she started to imagine a cold winter where the water would start to freeze and get cold, wondering if she would be able to make her water boil or turn into ice, so she started to focus harder. Followed up with a blast of ice shards, shocking herself that it was so easy hitting the ogres and sending them flying. But Sabrina was not done yet. Sabrina's frustration grew as the goblins and ogres tried to take the rare blue roses and run away. She felt a surge of anger and helplessness, and her dark magic started to surface again. She tried to control it, but it felt like a fire burning inside her, consuming her thoughts and senses. She closed her eyes, falling down on the ground, and took a deep breath, trying to regain control. As she exhaled, she felt the air around her shift and the leaves rustling against each other. She opened her eyes and saw that the goblins were still trying to flee, clearly injured from her attacks but not down yet and still holding her precious flowers. Sabrina knew she had to end this quickly. She focused her energy and channeled her dark magic into a powerful blast, aiming it at the ogres. A wave of darkness erupted from her hands, shaking the trees around, ripping them out of the ground as her power erupted out of her and sending the ogres flying into pieces. They crashed into the ground, motionless. Sabrina stood there, breathing heavily. She felt a mix of relief and fear, knowing that her dark magic was something she could not control yet. She was afraid of what it could do to her and those around her. As she caught her breath, Sabrina realized that her magic had grown stronger. She had gained 4 levels on her adventure and had unlocked new skills that she didn't know she had. But the power that came with her magic was also a burden, and she knew she had to be careful with it. Sabrina stretched out her arms and shrugged off the battle she had just composed herself, her heart still racing from the exhilaration of the battle she had just won against the giant ogres and the goblins. She took a deep breath, letting the cool air fill her lungs and calm her down. She knew that she had to focus now on looting the monsters she had defeated to collect all the valuable items she needed. She started with the ogres, checking their massive bodies for any loot. She wondered at first why they didn't explode into a crystal like the bear did, but shrugged it off and continued to loot. From the first ogre, she found a large battle axe with an enchanted blade, a handful of gold coins, and a small vial of red liquid that glimmered in the sunlight. She recognized it as a healing potion, which would be useful in case she got injured in future battles. As she reached for the battle axe, Sabrina felt a sharp pain in her palm. She realized that the axe was heavier than she had expected, and it was taking a toll on her arms and shoulders. She struggled to lift it off the ground and wondered how she would carry it back to the guild hall. Suddenly, she remembered her magical necklace's inventory and decided to try to put the axe in it. As soon as she did, the axe disappeared from her hand, and the weight vanished. From the second ogre, she collected a pouch of valuable gems and another potion, this time glowing blue. She didn't recognize it, but she knew it was probably a potion for magic users. She put it in her backpack and moved on to the goblins. She found a few clubs, a rusty sword and shields, but she knew those wouldn't be worth much. However, she did find a small leather pouch that contained a handful of silver coins and a rare herb she recognized as nightshade, a component often used in alchemy. She also found a few sparkling stones, which she guessed were elemental gems as they had the same aura as her magic she used prior, that could possibly enhance her weapons with elemental powers. As Sabrina gathered the stones, she noticed a shadow lurking behind her. She quickly turned around and saw a shade, a mysterious creature known for its stealth and cunning. Wondering if this creature had appeared because of her dark magic, the shade was as black as the night, and its eyes glowed red in the darkness. Sabrina unsheathed the rusty sword and stood ready for battle, but the shade disappeared into the shadows as quickly as it had appeared. Sabrina was relieved that the shade hadn't attacked her, but she couldn't shake the feeling that it was still watching her. She then placed the gems and nightshade into her inventory and collected as many flowers as she could, then started to head back towards the guild hall. The sun was setting by the time Sabrina arrived back at the guild hall. She walked inside, and the atmosphere was lively with other adventurers sharing their own stories of battles and quests. The air was filled with the smells of food and ale, and the sound of laughter and music. Sabrina made her way to the reception desk where Yui was waiting. "I've completed the quest," Sabrina said, placing a big pile of blue roses on the desk. Smiling from ear to ear as she grinned in satisfaction at her first successful mission. Yui looked up and smiled. "Well done, little one," she said. "Let me just check that everything is in order." She sorted through the flowers, counting them up, and confirmed that Sabrina had indeed completed the quest. "Great job. Here's your reward." She handed Sabrina a pouch of silver coins, which jingled satisfyingly in her hand. Sabrina smiled back. "Thank you, Miss Yui. It was tough, but I enjoyed it." Yui nodded. "That's the spirit. I'm sure you'll do even better on your next quest." As Sabrina was about to turn and leave, Yui called out to her. "Oh, Sabrina, may I have a look at your necklace?" Yui asked, gesturing to the magical accessory around Sabrina's neck. "Of course," Sabrina replied, unclasping the necklace and handing it over to Yui. Yui held the necklace up and examined it closely. She then tapped a few buttons on her tablet and Sabrina's stats appeared on the screen. Yui's eyes widened in surprise as she read the numbers. "Sabrina, did you level up during this quest?" Yui asked, handing the necklace back to Sabrina. "Yes, I did," Sabrina replied, a hint of pride in her voice. "I defeated a few monsters and managed to find some items as well." Yui's expression turned even more stunned. "You went up by 4 levels. That's quite an accomplishment." Sabrina grinned. "Thank you. It was a tough battle, but I managed to pull through," Sabrina replied, her eyes glinting with excitement. Miss Yui smiled. "I can see that," Miss Yui stated. She smiled and asked if she could see the items that Sabrina had received in her quest. She asked, her eyes scanning Sabrina's necklace for any new additions. Sabrina's hand instinctively went to her necklace as she nodded, taking out the purple stone she had received from the scary bear. "This item was curious to me," she stated as she handed the stone she had gotten from the bear to Miss Yui. She asked, "What is this for?" Miss Yui's eyes widened as she examined the stone. Shocked, she explained that it was a magical core stone of a demonic bear. "That's quite impressive." She then explained that a lot of monsters can drop stones like these when defeated. These stones are mana saved up by the creatures through their life and can be obtained after defeating the monster. She then states, "You went up by 4 levels, Sabrina. That's a significant increase," she exclaimed. Worried, she said that if she encountered strong creatures like that in the future, she should not hesitate to retreat, as she does not want Sabrina to get injured by fighting creatures above her rank. Nonetheless, still clearly impressed. "This bear is usually a tough fight even for seasoned adventurers," she thought to herself as she wondered how this little girl beat it by herself. Sabrina's face lit up with pride. "Thank you. It was really scary, but I'm glad I managed to defeat it," she said, stating that she would be careful in the future and to be more cautious. Miss Yui looked at Sabrina curiously. "Do you happen to have any more stones from defeating any monsters?" she asked. Sabrina quickly took out the pouch from her inventory and handed it to Miss Yui. "I do have a few more." "Are these the same kind of stones?" she asked, as they were a few but smaller in size. Miss Yui examined the stones and nodded. "Yes, they are the same, but they are smaller. They are from weaker monsters. Usually these drop from weaker monsters such as slimes, so they're not as valuable. You would get around 5 silver coins per small stone. However, the one you got from the demon bear is quite rare and valuable. You could get around 700 silver coins for that one stone alone," she explained. Sabrina's eyes widened in surprise. "That's a lot of money," she said, her mind racing with the possibilities. Miss Yui smiled. "Indeed, it is. The guild buys these stones to craft armor and weapons. It's a good way for adventurers to make some extra money," she said. Sabrina listened intently, absorbing all the information. She decided to sell all the stones to Miss Yui, eager to make some extra money for her future adventures. Miss Yui then asked for her pendant again, placing it down on the counter and putting her palms over it. Her hands started to glow and then she handed it back to Sabrina. Sabrina asked what she just did. So Miss Yui explained that her rank was updated to rank D, as her skills are strong enough to advance, as she already defeated a few monsters. Sabrina's eyes lit up with a big smile, thanking Miss Yui and bowing, saying thank you to Miss Yui as she got excited for her new rank. With her reward in hand, new rank and a renewed spirit, Sabrina decided to treat herself to a nice meal and a good night's sleep at the inn. As she lay in bed that night, she thought about all the adventures that lay ahead of her. She was determined to become a powerful adventurer, one that would be known throughout the land for her bravery and skill. Sabrina smiled as she drifted off to sleep, feeling grateful for the opportunity to embark on this incredible journey. She knew that there would be challenges and hardships along the way, but she was ready to face them head on, with her magic and her determination as her guide.